Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, let's get right to it. Retirement income tax freedom is possible. You know, we had clients we met with this week, and I think of two very contrasting age differences, right? One couple in their early 50s, the other couple in their early 80s. Both had the same goal: pay as little tax as legally possible. Now, the consensus is this, folks, because many of you have reached around from all around the country saying, Chuck, what can we do to get our retirement income tax advantage? We're removing unnecessary taxes or mitigate our taxes or ideally eliminate them. Folks, go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. And let me teach you what both of these couples that said they had no idea that these things existed. They were looking for safer returns in an environment that stays ahead of inflation, not this below inflation where everybody's flocking to the banks, which are now more unstable than they've been in decades, trying to find 4% yields that are all taxable, or trying to ride out this market with all this debt ceiling debacle and economic uncertainty and higher inflation. The inflation numbers that just came out, I'll read them to you. It just came out at the end of the week. The key inflation gauge, which is called the personal consumption expenditure, this is the Federal Reserve's go-to, and they need a lot of help, was up in April. So the cost of everything still continues to go up. But see, that has a ripple effect, right, in a lot of other areas. Number one, office real estate is now at a 2009 low. And when you think about the impact that no longer people coming to the office because there's less office space and values are just dropping and people are flocking away from that space, it impacts other businesses around where those businesses are located, where there's no more personal consumption by consumers because they're not going into the office. So everything is changing. And the question becomes, is the same plan that got you to where you are, right, the best plan to take you from here forward? And many of you have reached out and said, you know what, the plan we have is not working, Chuck. And here's to be something that kind of gives the writing on the wall. Costco didn't meet their earnings estimates. They're struggling, right? When you think about Costco, which is a discount, high volume discount store. Our family's shopped at Costco for years, and they're not making it, folks. The writing is on the wall. Well, what does that mean around taxation? Well, there's this thing called Tax Freedom Day. Actually created by a Florida businessman by the name of Dallas Hostetler back in 1948. And what he found, and he's tracked it, he actually ended up selling it to the Tax Policy Foundation to track every year how long it takes before you and I actually get to keep a dollar because of now being able to get all of what we've earned in really the first 4 months of the year goes to the federal government. Folks, stop that. Learn how not only you can have retirement income tax freedom, but learn how to lower your income tax. Like I think of the two couples, one in their 50s. They learned a strategy I'll teach you Tuesday for those of you that are kind of trapped in these 401ks and very concerned about taxes and feeling like, hey, I have no way to really get to that and start untaxing it. Folks, you do. I'll teach you this Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. They learned how to get complete control of their 401ks even in their early 50s. Most plans do not allow you to get access to you're almost 60 years old. And those of you that may not know that, you can, while you're working, if you're 59 and a half or older, get access to your 401k and start taking matters into your own hands, learning how to untax yourself. On top of that, right, they learned how to use a strategy that allows them to offset converting their IRAs to Roth IRAs. Well, contrast that with the couple in their early 80s saying, wow, we've got to stop these requirement of distributions. They're forcing us to pay more taxes. And the clients were concerned about losing income when one of them passes before the other. And one of the greatest ways that we made up for that difference was getting rid of unnecessary taxes that they didn't need to be paying. And they used the same strategy, which, by the way, not only created a major tax deduction. Our tax team would argue it's the greatest tax deduction in the tax code. But they were able to earn, for those that took advantage of this, over 15% last year when the general market was down 20%. Then not only a tax deduction, but good returns that are ahead of these low bank yields and this high runaway inflation. Well, I think the best way to emphasize this is many of you, I would summarize saying, being highly motivated, as a client said, to find tax laws to work in our favor so we don't pay one extra dollar to the IRS that's not necessary. Folks, you can do the same. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotect.com, and learn how you can have retirement income tax freedom, but learn how to lower your taxes now before you get there. So whether you're 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, the time to take advantage of the taxes on sale, while the values are down, while the deductions are higher, Take advantage of it, folks. Don't let the government take advantage of you. Take advantage of the IRS to the legal aspects, right, that are allowed in the tax code. Retirement income tax freedom. Retirement income tax freedom. RetirementProtected.com. RetirementProtected.com.